Victims of human trafficking can often be victimized a second time while their case weaves its way through the courts. A bill being debated in the second special session aims to help. As KLTV7's Alex Weister reports, it takes into account that some arrested for prostitution, theft, or drug crimes were forced into that activity.
Legislators and advocacy groups working to find a way to help human trafficking victims from being prosecuted for crimes that took place while they are being trafficked. Holly Bruce is the CEO of the Women's Center of East Texas.
The victims go through a lot of manipulation and coercion, and that's really what the bill is aimed at, to allow victims to not have so many barriers to a functional life.
A national survivor study done by Polaris says that 62% of survivors have been cited or arrested, with 80% of the arrests happening while they were being trafficked. Smith County District Attorney Jacob Putman says that sometimes the victims don't have a choice.
Often drugs involved, and so the traffickers will give their victims drugs to get them hooked, and so sometimes they'll be found with drugs in their possession. Often the girls that are being trafficked won't be fed, and so you'll see theft.
Charges from crimes they were forced into make it difficult for a victim to find a normal life after escaping their situation.
If you're doing that for someone else because you're pressured to, it's not following them, it's following you because it's under your name.
Senate Bill 11 failed to pass in 2021, 23, and the regular session this year. Governor Abbott was concerned it was too broad.
If you make it really broad, it includes things like murder or other, sexually violent offenses. Draw a line somewhere.
The reworked bill in the special session includes wording that excludes violent crimes such as murder or sex crimes, keeping a focus on non-violent crimes like prostitution, theft, drugs, and money laundering. Putman is optimistic this refined bill will protect victims.
Trafficking is a very complicated criminal endeavor, so putting a defense in the statute where they would have some recourse to show this was somebody else forcing me to do it, I think makes a lot of sense.
Alex Weister, KLTV7 News.
Now, that bill passed 30-0 in the state Senate, but does not have a date set for when that House, or when the bill will be voted on, rather, in the Texas House.